May 19th, 2022. There's this Fdny, like the frontline rescuers rescuing people out of a building when the scaffolding fell. In this particular Channel 7 Eyewitness News report, today being May 20th, 2022, they would be the heroes of the day at Fdny. Then it goes into a story, but this is after the scaffolding broke. Then it goes into a story about this army with a dressed whatever who's speaking a message that puts land occupation in direct violation of other stuff going on and puts harm where it wasn't needed. Especially with the message that they keep speaking and with their disallowance of perfectly healthy specimen joining ranks of some sort or getting to where they need to be within this area and this life frame. They also are renaming a street from General Lee, Lee, to something else, some John Warren whatever. It doesn't have a face, so I don't really care. It's only symbolic in gesture, but not related or tied to the person. But more problems with how they're replacing things. So typical this version of humanity in the RH positive category. And here it is on the universal light of the enlightened. Human Derivative put this together. This is something in the RH positive category telling on themselves.
On solid ground after getting stuck on the 42nd floor of a Midtown high-rise. Officials say their scaffolding stopped moving due to an apparent mechanical issue. Firefighters had to cut the glass window and pull them into the building. Authorities say the workers were not nervous at all and were giving them the thumbs up the whole time.
They were probably the calmest people on the scene. They handled it really well. We let the hoist people kind of run through a couple different checklists and some troubleshooting. That didn't prove to well.
They call them first line. They're like when an emergency strikes based on the sewage level of politicians' decisions elsewhere that affect them, but they have no say in. Their first line of defense to help the people in their time of need. That's what makes them rise in popularity. But for the silent elsewhere that keeps just rerouting future and populations and agenda and planning really poorly, might I add, by the looks of what I've arrived to in broken galaxy and broken star systems amongst the common ER area.
Work, so we continue our glass cutting operation and put them on our ropes, brought them in the building.
The two workers were treated on the scene.
Well, new at noon, General Lee Avenue in Fort Hamilton is now being renamed to John Warren Avenue. The new name is in honor of Brooklyn native First Lieutenant John Earl Warren Jr., who was killed in the Vietnam War when he was just 22. He was posthumously awarded.
This is what leading from behind looks like in RH positive. In some O group of oh shit, when RH negative at ABO needs specific stuff, but instead they get tied up with this adjunction and dysfunction and dystopian.
Awarded the Medal of Honor for his valor. The change is the culmination of a long-standing push by local officials to remove Robert E. Lee's name.
We knew it was the right thing to do. Our Army is an institution that embraces diversity and inclusion, and it rejects hate and prejudice.
So that's their mission statement. Oh, the Navy, the ones in charge of nuclear warheads, you have a recruiting problem on your hands on ground level due to all of this messaging.
But those can't just be words. They will require action, and it's time for a change.
The base also removing Stonewall Jack.
Why? Why is the white guy at the podium trying to wipe my children out of having a future? Why is it time for a change? Why is that man put in a position where he is literally taking the seat from my son and giving it to someone else? Why is that?
Jackson Drive in the coming.
And why is he left in a podium and uniformed position of the utmost respect at real world, at global level? Just curious.
Coming weeks, named for Thomas J. Stonewall Jackson.
Mayor Eric Adams is calling it a major victory for all New Yorkers. Coming up, the deal to keep speed cameras up and running around the.
It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. Now this is what that army message looks like to me. Neutrogena for people with skin. And look what it looks like they're doing in their uniform pay-grade positions while I've been held without.
Loans. One woman says that her debt nearly doubled after.
This portion of CBS Mornings, sponsored by Steel.
Now, is it still STIHL or STILL? Because that's what it looks like. 2 generations of star system in the wrong trajectory. I should have been aborted and not have to enter this system since it's at a terminus, which means it's like total meltdown and somebody's going to like cause problems in like a big way. I didn't need to enter that. So I thought, since they pulled me in here, they were actually working on fixing the system. I see it has not worked.
Find yours at steelusa.com.
Less work time, more you time. Count on Steel to take you there. Not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Real Steel. Find yours at over 10,000 local Steel dealers. Go.
And let's see, how did they accomplish this real steal in stealing time and resources and breaking this area even further between the 2 star systems that were already on someone's radar and Doppel and Hubble? So this way they could monitor at a like erythro site, CYTE level, at SITE level, because somebody already had insight at SITE level somewhere in a 3rd World War. Well, they already went through 2. They've had lots of discovery. They've had lots of quiet door meetings. They've enhanced nuclear capability. They have advanced capability. And then they have the common prisoners of war in the area that I'm stuck in. So they've already had a triple bark, or triple bank, if you will, at where are they playing around with the children stuck at prisoner of war and missing in action. So now I look, and it looks about right. That's what I've encountered. 2 generations of them prior to my arrival. Only thinking of themselves, only planning for themselves, and really not talking about it, but it's gone into action in this local area. Almost like a lumen and a tunnel, like the one I was flushed through in order to enter the star system that should have been aborted if this was going to be a Lotus in like Summation and Summit.
Go with Simparica Trio.
And there they are looking into my future. Oh my God. And guess what they're doing? They don't care about ABO-RH negative and what I need. In fact, what they have already proven and shown is that they only care about themselves. Because they took my future and they blocked me out of it. So now you've got a ripple effect in the universe and galaxy, in a time ripple effect of existential problems. In when you put a stone in a pond and it has that ripple effect, right, it goes out for quite some time. Same thing in like star systems. That's why when it's detected, it's supposed to be identified and rectified immediately. I don't know how you had 7 decades where nobody's doing a goddamn thing for Lynn, and you have another 4 under your belts with me with really dangerous whatever going on and nobody knows anything.
It's triple protection.
Oh, and here's the dog coming down the lumen and the pike. Pike. What a surprise.
Protection made simple.
And what do they want to do? They want to play with it. Oh, it's so cute. It's just a little puppy. No, it's not. That's on this visualization. For wolves and sheep with great teeth.
And only monthly chewable that covers heartworm disease, ticks and fleas, round and hookworms. Dogs get triple protection in just one Simparica Trio. This drug class has been associated with neurologic adverse reactions, including seizures. Use with caution in dogs with a history of these disorders. Protect him with all your heart. Simparica Trio.
Oh, this is interesting. And what are the Congress and the Senators, another class of humans at ABO I've never been able to get to? They're supposed to be fighting on your behalf. Yeah, really, it's confusing because there's a multiplex of issues here who thinks everybody's fighting for everybody all equally.
You up with debt and then squeeze every last drop out of you to pay back.
Canceling student debt would also be grossly unfair to the Americans who worked hard for years to pay off their loans.
Republicans agree rising costs are a problem, but they've introduced legislation to block the president from forgiving student loans.
I question whether he has that authority at all.
Whether the president does have the authority has sparked fierce debate.
Yeah, which fatherlands lent all of these gems and jewels into New York within Linda and my life period? I'm just curious. Because there's that loan forgiveness that I think you should just cut off at the head. We didn't ask for them, we didn't want them, so now I got a problem. Where they came from doesn't seem to be contributing or helping the issue and making an even larger problem, which is really just a distraction, breaking the star system, leading real world to just wanting to send one final message. And they really didn't care in the beginning to hear about it. They really don't care in the end. And like, if you're going to get loud about it, they got like a real quick fix solution. I don't know why they didn't do that before I arrived.
And the education department has yet to come to a conclusion.
Regulation is much more likely to survive the legal challenge.
Loan forgiveness for lower income people may be more legally viable, according to student loan expert Mark Cattaruzza, but it won't solve the central problem.
Loan forgiveness is a one-time event. It doesn't increase college access or graduation rates, and it doesn't help future students.
Douglas says without action, many Americans will be faced with some very hard.
Now, this woman who had like a whole monologue that I really don't care to listen to, she's got a shirt on. I mean, she's the revolutionist. It's written on her shirt. It says R in brackets and then EVOLUTION. Whatever that means in real world terms at like Tris for this divergent message.
I'm hoping beyond hope that we don't miss this opportunity to do right by a whole lot of people.
Now, before he left.
Well, you know, funny thing about that, Lynn arrived in the late 1940s, almost 1950. I arrived late 1970s, almost 1980s, and you've missed the boat twice at Erythrocite and Lost City of Atlantic for this to even matter to anybody elsewhere that actually has trigger button fingers and very short patience.
He left for Asia. The president met with lawmakers again to discuss this issue, and like we said, a decision is expected at some point soon. Polls show a majority of Americans support at least some kind of loan forgiveness, and that's likely to factor into the administration's decision, given that the midterm elections are just a few months away. Nate?
Ed, thank you. Speaker?
Oh, if only I could get to a mid-size SUV that fits in a helicopter. He's got to be, what, 6'8"? That's like a custom helicopter. Yeah, it's not the one the little guys fly around in. Now here we are. Usually it says progressive here. This morning they changed it for ensure strength and energy. And then they go into mRNA.
What could one strand of mRNA do? It could change the future of medicine. It could change the lives of millions. See what mRNA could do. Moderna, this changes everything.
And it actually has a copyright. And now this goes on right before an interesting symbolic mention of crawdads, because I think the doodads and the DUE and the DO-dads, DADS, I think there's a whole lot of ruckus going on, and I am really frightened about who's leading that charge.
In nature, there are no laws, only survival.
This is like Animal Kingdom where I live.
On the record-breaking bestseller, Where the Crawdads Sing.
Miss Clark is charged with murder.
She is an outsider. We made her so.
This is how that army guy who gets up there's like, I want diversity and I want like all this stuff and we're not doing hate and whatnot. Really? Great. So then you're the guy who put me unlawfully on a path and like you murdered my future and my children's future. Because where is this place for me if you're given seats to other people's children's at a table that has food when you've already taken mine away?
He's not good enough for you.
You're the one who left me. She killed me.
I have to get out of here. One way or the other.
Where the Crawdads Sing, exclusively in movie theaters July 15th.
Panera Ship.
Yep, the guy with that like really dangerous message in America. The crawdads sing somewhere. He has a better likelihood of getting to where the crawdads with the doodads sing than I. But if he's singing all about this new mission statement that like the NIL nuclear guys know what they need, it seems to be the NIL sports employees that are having some kind of leg up on competition and keep misdirecting the arguments, the settlements, the collectives, any kind of bargaining. It's really not, it's a bunch of quicksand in this area. And it seems like they're calling over more participants since they've already been fed. And now they've got this inroad to collective bargaining dollars. All they do is make a couple of phone calls and then everybody's meal ticket seems to get paid. I don't know why I don't have the same level of participation with the RH negative, since we're all equal at RH negative, and there is a commonwealth within that asset group and class. I don't understand why I'm being treated like a dog coming down the pike and anybody's allowing anyone to sit at the other end and misdirect my entire appearance. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken. And it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.